welcome to Soul Symbols. My name is Shelley. I'm a writer, an astrologer, and a card reader, and I'd like to welcome you to my channel. Today I'm doing a super special video. I had mentioned, if you're a follower of my channel, I have mentioned in the past that I try to, I host readings on Tuesdays and on Saturdays, and in addition I've been doing some additional readings to sprinkle in to give some added content. And today is a super special reading because today is National Dice Day. And this is something that I've been doing. I did it actually a few weeks ago with National Espresso Day. And what it is that when a national day comes around, if I like the day, and yeah, that is my personal preference, but if it's a fun day and it has a kind of a fun theme, what I'll do is I'll either pull oracle cards or tarot cards, or in today's case, we'll be pulling nothing but dice, to kind of do a energy reading. It is, I believe that symbols speak to you every day, just the way dreams do. It's almost like the humans, it's kind of proven that the human psyche works in symbols and not words or anything else. So I just find that reading cards and reading dice is very meditative. And I actually have a lot of dice. What had happened was when I had looked up the different national days, I wanted some, to do some fun themed readings. I had found that today was going to be National Dice Day, and the funny thing was at first I thought, okay, that's National Dice Day, what can I do with that? But then when I thought about it, I was like, I have a lot of dice. If you've ever watched my channel, I have other videos, like I do a D&D reading on the 20th of each month, and I have conversation dice, I have astrology dice, I have story dice. And so when I saw National Dice Day, the first thing I did is I said, can I do this? Is this possible, right? And I ran right over to my bookshelf and I grabbed all my bag of dice. I said, okay. And it was funny, it was almost a test, because I really do believe that you can read anything. I believe that really life comes to you in symbols. And so I raced over to my bookcase and I pulled out all my dice, and it was pretty funny. And one thing that I've mentioned before, and I don't know if you watch my channel, the cards get literal sometimes, and I should have known better than to push the universe, because I pulled out my 4 bags of dice and I said, okay, let me test this on myself before I subject my poor readers to a reading about that's consists of nothing but dice. Let me see if it actually works. And this is, so what I did is I pulled out all 4 bags and I threw the dice and I asked a question. Well, I had I should be more honest and say I had a question on my mind. And oh my gosh, when you have a question on your mind and you're pulling cards or you're pulling dice, oh, the universe will answer. The universe will answer. And it's funny, the question in my head, and here, let me go ahead, I'll show you the dice. This is the dice. And the question that I had in my head was, oh, the days are, I was bemoaning the fact that the days are so short, the sun goes down at 5. I'm in northern, I'm in America, in northern, the northern hemisphere. And I was like, it's so cold, it's winter time here. And I'm like, I don't have time to exercise. I don't have time to exercise. And it's funny, I do study astrology as well, and I have a Venus in Virgo. And I know very well that as you get older, the most important thing that you need to do is you need to tone your muscles. And you have to lift weights. Walking is great, it's great cardio, it keeps your heart healthy, but as you age, building muscle is probably the best thing that you can do. And it was funny knowing this, and I threw the dice, and guess what the dice came back with? It came back with this dice that looked like, a woman with a walker, like, someone who was older or geriatric. And then it had someone who was lifting weights. And then it had it had symbols for Pluto, which is willpower. And then it came out with also the solar plexus, which is willpower, which is the cube. It's the yellow die. What it is the dice that I have is it's Dungeons and Dragons dice in chakra colors. So I got the solar plexus chakra with the number 6, which is the 6th house of Virgo, or working, and basically the universe was that dice reading that I did for myself totally called my butt out. It was like, you know what? You're making yourself sound like you're geriatric. You're not that old. If you actually go to the gym or try to get out into nature or just lift weights at home, you will reach your goal. And then it said it was basically, it was hinting at the fact that it's all willpower, and you need to have more willpower, and you need to get over yourself. So after I got done with that dice reading, I was like, oh my gosh, the universe just called my butt out and said, you know what, you can not only do this reading with nothing but dice, but you need to get your butt to the gym. So, or you know, gym at home, because you know it's holiday time and gyms are expensive, and we forget about the monthly fees, and you know how it goes. But kudos to my friend E, who totally goes to the gym the day after Thanksgiving. So good for you, because I'm lazy. But all right, that story aside, and we'll get the show on the road. Sorry to lament. But what I'm going to do is today I'm going to hold, in honor of National Dice Day, I'm going to hold a very brief reading that consists of nothing but dice. And what it is you see 4 bags here. And this is my story dice by Rory's dice, Rory's cubes. This is my astrology dice that I purchased on Amazon. These are conversation dice, and then these are my chakra. These are my D&D chakra dice. And all of the links and descriptions of the materials I use are in the description box below. What I've done is, I know it seems like I needed a placeholder. I needed something, objects for you to choose from. And these are actually, I watched a video. I love watching videos here on YouTube. I'm so grateful to be a part of the YouTube community. But I was watching a great video that said your spirit guides, and I watched it, and I'm not a very superstitious person. I know, believe it or not, you know, with all the woo-woo that I do with the Oracle and deck, I'm pretty skeptical on average. But I was very moved by this reading. It's one of my favorite readers. And she said, she goes, your spirit guide sends you feathers. And oh my gosh, if you watch my channel, I have a beloved 11 subscribers. I got up to lucky 11, guys. Thank you. But I'm sorry, I'm all over the place today. I'm excited. It's National Dice Day. But she said, oh, your spirit guides send you feathers. And oh my gosh, guys, I have like 5 feathers, and they're all different, and they're all beautiful. So what I did is, because I needed a placeholder and I didn't want to take from the dice, I'm going to go ahead and let you choose from 3 of my feathers. And just so you know, I found all these feathers. This is just a partial of the cache that I've collected from my spirit guides sending me beautiful feathers. But we have one kind of bright one that's a really pretty black. The middle one is kind of a blue, and I'm not sure what bird this comes from. If you know what bird this comes from, please, you know, leave it in a comment. But the top is kind of white. And then the last one is a beautiful gray, and it's tipped in black, and it's not as big as the other one. So I just needed a placeholder. I'm going to pause the video, and what we're going to do is you choose a feather, and with each feather I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull your dice, and we're going to do a super quick reading because we can read dice and it's National Dice Day. So let me go ahead and let you choose your feather, and I'll see you in a minute. Okay, we're back. I am going to try to keep this a little bit more concise. I know I always promise that, and I never deliver, and I apologize because I love what I do. Love what I do. But these readings are totally for you guys. I tell you, because you guys send me your energy, so you know, I draw from that energy, and I pull. Anything you see here is totally for you. I'm just a squirrel in your world. So let's go ahead and get started. We're gonna go ahead, and this is feather number 1. Vanna hands. Okay, let's see. We're gonna read your energies. So first off, we're gonna pull. So think of a question. Feather number 1. Feather number 1. Ooh, you got the Pied Piper flute. We got this not too long ago. I wonder if believe me, I have a beloved, again, I have a beloved, we have a beloved 11 subscribers. So if I have regulars, I love you guys. So now we're gonna do your astrology dice, and we're gonna roll these for each turn, just because. All right, we got Libra, got the 3rd house, we got Jupiter. Wow. Got some, do we have some Jupiter Libras in the 3rd house? All right, now we're gonna do your conversation dice. Ooh, you kind of got 2. Oh, guys. I'm seeing a theme, and I am gonna read it how I see it. All right, so what is your chakra dice? What's your chakra? Ooh, upside down 4th. We're gonna go with that one, guys. All right, feather number 1. All right, so to read it as I see it, you got the Pied Piper flute. Guys, reading the rest of the dice, I think you're following the crowd, and I think you're following the crowd because you have to. When I see the flute, I kind of think of the Pied Piper, the lemmings that follow where the piper goes. And something is first telling me that you're very impacted by music. Sorry for the background noise. That's dude who wishes he were dude with no muffler. It's not the real deal. But first off, I think I'm getting a feeling like you have a very musical influence. Maybe you play an instrument, and your musical background makes you very impacted by music. I also feel like music is very comforting to you right now. I do think that you're going through a little bit of stress, and I'll get into that in a minute, the reason why I'm reading it that way. But I do think that right now you have to adhere to the status quo. I think you have to go where the piper leads because it's required of you. I'm not seeing it because of a whole lot of money. Money might be an issue, but what concerns me is that this is the dice that fell out, and it says help. And then you also got silence. That was the dice that I pulled. You got the solar plexus, which rules willpower, and you got it with the number 4 in reverse. 4 is usually the stability. It's the 4 corners. In tarot, it's the 4 corners. It's like the cornerstones of something. But in astrology, it is the 4th house. It rules family. And I just feel like with Libra, you got the Libra. Libras are the people who deal with relationships. They are the people pleasers. And just for the record, I am a sun sign Libra conjunct Pluto in the 12th house, and I feel you because you have to adhere to the status quo. You have to please people, or either that or you're very used to pleasing people. There's something in the ways that you were raised. Now, the other thing is you got the 3rd house, which rules communication. It's short commutes and communication. And then you also got Jupiter, which is the planet of luck and abundance. So I do think that, first off, I do think that you're experiencing a very lucky time. You are kind of on top right now, which is good. It has to do a lot with technology or computers, and I think it is also requiring you that you commute. I don't think you commute outside of the state, but I do think that you have to drive a lot. I'm getting a sense that you have to drive a lot. Now, I think that either your career or your current circumstance requires that you be very good with people. You have to keep a very good front on, which is almost a face. You have to go where the piper leads. And sometimes that makes you feel like a lemming. Sometimes it makes you feel like you're leading. So you kind of teeter-totter. The other thing is that the Libra is the scales. So I think I'm getting this really strong vibe as if you kind of vacillate between leading and following. But right now you feel like you have to follow. Now, what I'm seeing is I'm seeing following, I'm seeing people pleasing, I'm seeing commuting and communication, really strong communication. I see that leading up to your luck or your sense of abundance. So you have to do this, otherwise you will lose your boons. And then But what concerns me is that the second row is help, silence, and an inverted fourth, which is willpower. So it's almost like you want to take some kind of action, but you're being forced to stay as a lemming because you are forced to be silent because there's something going on with your family and something going on with the cornerstones of your stability. It's almost like you have to put on a good face or a good front. So feather number 1, that's what I'm seeing. Oh my gosh. I wish you luck. I hope everything turns out well. I'm going to go ahead and put your conversation dice and your chakra dice over here next to your feather. All right. So if you need to reference, please feel free to rewatch this section or freeze frame if needed. But I am concerned because what I'm seeing is a lot of sunniness, and then underneath the root of that, or underneath the water of that, the roots of it, is a lot of silence and almost a call for help. So please, guys, if you need any assistance, if you feel like you need to talk to someone, I'm really getting a vibe that there's always someone in the universe to talk to you or to be there for you. All right? So love you guys. I hope you have a good day and that everything is okay. And let's move on to feather number 2. Now, feather number 2 is one of my favorites. Oh my gosh, the lighting does not do this justice. I was trying to film during the day, but again, you know, the days have been short. That was my gripe. The universe called my butt on it. But here you go. It's a very blue iridescent. It's like a blue-black, and then it's tipped in white, and it's such a pretty feather. And again, if anybody knows what bird this comes from, please let me know. So let's go ahead and get your story dice. Okay, let me shuffle a little bit more. I did see someone kind of digging, like I saw the guy with the shovel, but here you got the guy with the gift. So we're gonna go with that one because that's the one that came out, but I am making note. All right, let's go ahead, and we need to roll the astrology dice for all 3 piles. So here we got 8 on its side, which is almost the infinity symbol. We have Libra in reverse, the last pile got that. And then we also got Pluto on its side. I'm gonna go ahead and include how it falls, because I really feel like I'm getting a theme already, guys. Survival, oh my gosh, wow. Let's go ahead and get your chakra die. If you've ever watched my videos, this is the smallest dice bag that I've ever met in my, oh, okay, it fell out, and it fell out at 10. All right, and that's the percentile die that I use in the Dungeons and Dragons readings. Just for your reference, I do Dungeons and Dragons readings on the 20th of each month. It's D20, baby. And if you ever want to, feel free to tune into that video. So, feather number 2, my goodness, wow, you got a Scorpio sandwich here. I'm not gonna lie. Now, first off is you got the story dice that is gift, right? And then you got the 8th house, which is on its side, and the 8th house rules Scorpio. It rules transformation. It rules the bonds that we have in life. Then you got Libra, and it was upside down, and again, I'm reading it in the position in which it fell. And then you got Pluto, which is kind of on its side, and again, that is the ruling planet of Scorpio. Then you got Survival, which is definitely a Scorpio concept. And then you got 10 on the percentile die, which is the throat chakra. So guys, the way I'm reading this is you've had a rough year. You've had a rough year, and you're having not so much of a rough time. 10 in tarot means completion, and we are coming up on the end of a decade. We're about to embark on the 20s, but 10 is basically it's 1/10 of 100, and the 10th means completion. It means kind of completing a cycle. And what I'm really kind of seeing is, I think I really get the vibe like you're coming out of this. I feel like with Libra in reverse, Libra is a very happy sign. It's almost kind of like a see everything with rose-colored glasses. Now, the beautiful thing about Libras is what we're also called is they're kind of written off as being soft or fluffy. And the crazy thing is, Libras are not soft and fluffy. What it is that an evolved Libra, or one that's showing their, very honed characteristics, they're referred to as the iron hand in a velvet glove. And what it is that they're peaceful, but the reason that they're peaceful is because they've known chaos. And the fact that Libra's in reverse, I just get this feeling as if you've known a lot of chaos. Either that, or you've tried to keep things on the level. You've tried to keep everything on the up and up, but it's been difficult. It's been difficult. It's been one of those things where, life has just been harsh. It's been harsh. And actually, a lot of the astrological transits that we've been through, Saturn just went through its own sign of Capricorn, which is a square to Libra. And the fact that, honestly, Pluto has been in Capricorn for almost, Pluto is the slowest moving planet. It goes through a sign in about 12 years. So what this tells me, and the fact that everything's on its side, when the 8th house is on its side, it looks like the infinity symbol. Like if you look at tarot, the infinity symbol is over the head of the person in strength, and it's also over the head of the magician. And what that tells me is, it almost, what I'm thinking? I'm thinking of the Wheel of Fortune card, which has been coming up a lot. What it means is that the wheel is turning. The wheel is turning. You've done your work. You've done your work, Libra. And if you are Libra, or you could be another sun sign, or you also want to look at all of the planets in your chart. Basically, you've had a test of your will. You've had a test of your sense of survival, and you've had to go through that for probably a long time now. And I'm getting the feeling like it's been longer than a year. It's probably been for the last 10 years. You might have been impacted by this Capricorn transit, or you just feel like you've been stuck on survive for a while now. Now, what I see is, first off, when I see Libra in the reverse and I see 8 on its side, I really think that what's happening is, the infinity symbol really means that you get what you give. It's a little bit of a golden rule, because when you look at it, it kind of goes like this. It kind of goes in a figure 8, right? It goes in and out and back again and in and out. And what it means is, the energy that you put forth into the universe, into your world, will eventually come back to you. Sometimes it's not instantaneous, but it does come back. So the good that you do, is the good that you will get. And I see, and what's beautiful about really hard transits, especially Capricorn and Saturn and Pluto, and the fact that Pluto's in Capricorn and Saturn is in Capricorn and about to leave, about to head out, is that when you've done your karmic work, what it is that Saturn wants you to work hard. It wants you to look at the weak points in your life. If you haven't, if there's things that you haven't been doing and it's really going to hinder your progress, like it's not going to get you where you need to go in life, Saturn slows down life to almost a crawl, a painful crawl, and it makes you look at the things, at the foundations of what you're doing, and it makes you make changes to get, because it loves you. It wants you to, the universe loves you. The universe wants you to get where you are meant to go. And when you do the work, and sometimes the work is not fulfilling, sometimes it does feel like the dirge, and it is hard, but what you're doing is you're correcting the areas that you need to correct. The moment the transit is over, it will give you a gift. It's almost like saying, you did what you were supposed to do. Now is your reward. You put out into the universe what you were put out, and sometimes you didn't get that back right away. You're going to be rewarded. And it took a lot of willpower. Your will was really tested. And actually, we're not completely out of the woods. You probably have, if you're in the late degrees of any cardinal sign, like if you're a late degrees Aries, late degrees Libra, and that's anywhere from 18 degrees to 29 degrees. If you know astrology, you don't have to know that. But basically, we're coming out of the woods now, and any work that you've done right now will be rewarded. I know you probably feel like it won't be. You probably feel like you've just been toiling away and you've been surviving, right? You've been surviving. So, but what it tells me is there's a completion of the cycle. You are on the verge. You are on the verge. The other thing is that when you come to the end of Libra, the very next sign is Scorpio. And believe it or not, Scorpio is transformation. Scorpio, it's funny, a lot of times people believe it's true that Libra does rule relationships, it does rule marriage, but it's funny how Scorpio also is a very subconscious ruler of marriage, because Scorpio rules needs. And it's funny, you know, Libra is a little bit of a surface, how you relate to people, but what keeps you in a committed relationship for a long term is always Scorpio. It's always 8th house. Because it's like, can you really live with somebody? You know what I mean? If somebody leaves the cap off the toothpaste, it's gonna drive you insane. Do you have 2 sinks in the bathroom, right? But I'm sorry, I don't mean to go off on a tangent, but I'm reading your dice, and I do think you guys have had it's been a long haul. You've been working really hard. You haven't really seen the instant results of your hard work, but you're about to. You're about to get that gift, and the universe is going to give it to you free and clear because you earned it. All right, so feather number 3. Good job, guys. That's amazing. I really wish you well. That's really. Oh, and just one other thing. This is the throat chakra. So I really think that if you are stressing, if you really are having a hard time, what it's telling is don't be in silence about it. Don't be in silence about it. The throat chakra is speaking, and the throat chakra is also illusions. It's one of those things where it's about working out. If part of your hard work is been you feeling like you've been working through some old paradigms, like some old cycles, if you feel like you've just been doing the same shtick over and over and over again, it tells you to analyze that, to really kind of shine some light on any illusions. And it also says talk about it. It says, okay, you know, there is no shame, and you don't really, you know, it's not saying anybody needs a therapist. You don't need to pay for a therapist, but really kind of analyze your beliefs, analyze your thought systems, because your perception might be keeping you stuck in survival mode, and that's another thing that it's telling you. All right, guys, so that was feather number 2. Gosh, how are we doing on time? Can you see? Yes. Okay, good. We're keeping this very concise. I'm very glad for that. So feather number 3 is that beautiful gray feather that is tipped in black. This is a really pretty one. This is also another bird. I have no idea what bird this comes from. Again, my spirit guides send me feathers. One other thing that video told me, as I said in the introduction, I get sent feathers, so I use them as place markers today. So these are all feathers that I've found, and I've disinfected. I clean them with alcohol before I display them or use them. But one other thing that was so great, it's by a great reader that I watch here on YouTube, is they said, oh, your spirit guides send you feathers. And they said, they also know when you wear red. Do you wear that red lipstick? And I nearly gasped, because I wear like the 1940s red lipstick when it's something my mom's always told me. She says, when you feel blue, wear red. So, but anyway, I'm sorry to go off on a tangent, but that's why I went with feathers today, because I just really feel like I wanted good energy, and I wanted to pull your energy and have guidance. All right, so feather number 3, and let's see, what is your story dice? Ooh, oh, that guy kind of wanted to come out last deck. Let's go ahead and get your astrology dice. We're using the same astrology dice for all 3 piles because it rolls like that. Capricorn, 4th inverse, 2nd. No, you know, there was a 4 inverse, but it was the chakra dice earlier. Gosh, guys. I wonder if there's a theme going on with the collective. So feather number 3, what is our connection in the reverse? I'm going to read it how it falls. And what is your chakra die? Ooh. You got number 7, which rules the 7th house. Okay, we'll get into it. We'll get into it, guys. Wow. So here, all right, you see your story dice is you got someone who's digging. And here it kind of looks like he's putting dirt. He's using a spade to kind of put dirt on top of a hole, and he looks pretty happy, right? He looks pretty content, right? Now, you got Capricorn as your planet, or I'm sorry, your sign. You got 4 in the reverse, and that is your house. Come on, focus, please. Thank you. And you got the moon as the planet. All right, and then you got connection, and connection is upside down. And then you got, you got 7, and this is the third eye chakra. It's third eye chakra. So what I see, guys, is I really see, first off, the moon is your emotions. The moon is your emotions. It's the core of how you feel about a situation. The 4th house rules home. And just for the record, the first deck got 4 in reverse as well. So just so you can see this. Look at that, guys. You got 4 and you got 4. Let me try to focus this. Look at that. So there is definitely some family stuff going on. And the fact moon also rules Cancer, which is the house of home and family. And then your sign, you got Capricorn, and then you got connection in reverse, and your third eye chakra is, you got 7th house. So there's kind of 2 ways that I can read this. There's 2 ways I can read it. First off, when I see the story dice, I really see this as somebody who is planting a seed. He's either planting a seed or he's finally burying something that needs to be buried. And I know that seems a little morbid, but that's another way that you can interpret this. It can be finally putting to rest something that needs to be put to rest. But if we read it both ways, okay, so I'll read it both ways. If we read it as if he's planting a seed, the sign of Capricorn is that real industrious. The Capricorn is the person who makes it in the business world. He's the person, he's the worker bee. He's the patriarch. He's the man's man. He's almost like the emperor. And I do a series called How to Tarot. If you watch the Emperor, that's the official sign is Aries, but it's a very Capricorn element too, in the fact that he goes out and he's the leader of leaders. And Capricorns care a lot about their business persona, how they are viewed in the world, their job, how hard they work at their job, the way they're perceived, and how much money they make is all very, very important to them. Then the fact that you have the 4th house and it's in reverse, it tells me that you're not really, right now you are looking to build or grow the seed. So if we look at this as planting a seed, you're looking to grow your career. Right now your career is your main importance. And what happens is Cancer and Capricorn are opposites on the teeter-totter. They are opposite signs. Cancer is home and family. Capricorn is patriarchs and career. It's how you're seen out in the world, not how you're seen at home. And the fact that you have the 4th house in reverse in between tells me that you have a choice. Your emotions, your sense of self is tied up in your career right now. You want to plant the seeds. You want to be the CEO. That is your main priority right now. And the fact that you have underneath that, the roots of it, the fact that you have a 4th house inverse or upside down in between says you're choosing Capricorn. You're choosing your worldly expression. You are choosing to be a leader and someone very, very important who makes a lot of money, who is out in the world. Now, the other thing that you have is you have connection in the reverse. And you also got the 3rd eye chakra in the 7th house, or 7, which rules 7th house, which rules relationships. What it's kind of telling me is, first off, with an emphasis, with the Capricorn being right next to the man planting the seed, and the fact that I'm reading this as both planting a seed, I'm getting, it's funny, when I first saw this, I said, he's burying something. But why is he so darn happy that he's burying something? Then I went, oh, he's planting a seed. He wants it to grow. And I feel like both symbols are right, and I'm gotta read it how I see it, guys. I think you are making your emotional priority your job. So you're planting the seed at your job, but you might, and I'll be honest, you might be burying relationships as a side effect. You might be putting aside people, and that could be both family and romantic, to make your job a priority. And that is completely okay. If that's what you want in life, that's fine. But the fact that the 7 comes up under your third eye chakra, under the third eye chakra is in the center of your forehead. It's your higher knowledge. It's like where the universe it's the conduit between you and the universe. And again, you can have a more religious belief where you believe in God and a higher power. And by all means, it's almost like God telling you, or the universe telling you, or what your higher power telling you, relationships are important. You don't have to make relationships your priority, but you don't want to completely shelve them either. And what it's telling you is that you have a lot of people who are trying to connect to you. And the only thing I can think of, and what it's kind of calling to me is that, and not to be morbid, but again, I thought he was either burying something or growing something, which is a very extreme parallel. It's a very extreme opposite, right? It's like, why in the world would I think he's burying something? And I almost get the sense like he's doing both. Again, I feel like he's burying one thing in order to grow something else, which is kind of the trade-off that you have. But one thing it's telling me is the fact that it's saying that the higher knowledge, the more you might be ignoring, because connection is in reverse. And 7 is in the higher knowledge. It's saying this is in your subconscious. You might be having dreams. The universe might be reaching out to you and telling you, or sending you symbols. Maybe you find feathers. Maybe there's something that that speaks to you through the ether. But the universe is telling you that it doesn't have to be an either or proposition. You don't have to completely shelf a relationship just because you're making work a priority. And I do kind of get the feeling as if family might be getting a little annoying right now, and work might be the more welcome distraction. But even if that's the case, you still want to keep family in a good standing. They don't have to be on top of your priority list, especially if you're making your way in the world and you're making progress at that. But I do think that the universe is telling you, don't, and I keep hearing Ebenezer Scrooge. Don't completely don't bury something good just because you're trying to grow yourself as in the Capricorn realm. You don't have to do that. You can have both. The other thing that it's telling you is it might also be telling you that I might be getting a feeling, because the fact that you have the moon and you have the third eye, you might be getting a lot of downloads about this. You don't have to necessarily be a reader, but I do get the feeling like you're very receptive. You're a receptive person. You see these signs that the universe is sending to you. They might, and I have a feeling like you're having a tough time ignoring it. You're trying to just throw yourself into growing the seed, but the universe is sending you signs saying, don't ignore connections. Take care of, be on good terms with your family. Work out the problems with your family. Work out the problems with your personal relationships. Don't ignore those. And that would bring you success in both areas. But it is completely telling you that you have the power to turn that connection around. But the other thing that I do see is that with 4th in reverse and the moon here, the negative aspects of the moon is that it brings about a lot of illusion. Like the moon tarot card makes you very afraid. It puts all of these bad images in your head. Sometimes you think, okay, you know, if I try to make things right with my family, I'll just be defeated, or if I try to call this person, they'll just shut me down. If you believe that, then you're making it a reality. It'll become a self-fulfilling prophecy. So that's another thing it's telling you, is that don't ignore these. Don't let too much time. The other thing is Capricorn rules time. And I'm seeing an hourglass. I'm seeing sand almost coming, the end of sand coming through an hourglass. You're gonna, if you don't take action to make some of these relationships right, you might run out of time. But that's not to scare anyone, but it's just saying that this is mostly fueled by illusions or fears that are in your subconscious. And that those subconscious fears could be stemmed from childhood experiences. You might have had something with either previous romantic relationships or in childhood that's making you believe that. And it also might be telling you to kind of bring those to light and, you know, exercise those kind of negative preconceived notions, so it doesn't affect your current relationships with family and with relationships. All right, guys. So that was pretty powerful for dice. But all right. Well, I want to thank you for participating. So this was National Dice Day. I hope it was very informative and helpful. I do also want to just let you know that coming up, we have the weekly energy reading on Saturday. Also, I do sew all of the bags that I use. If you would like to look at the last National Day I did, it was the coffee bag one. And what it is that I am giving away, in that reading, all you have to do is go over to that reading, and I will post the link in the description box below. If you would like to enter to win this bag, it is a coffee bag that I made, and inside of it is a deck of Starbucks coffee cards and a gift card for $5 to Starbucks for coffee. And this was on my coffee video, and this is something, all you have to do is leave a comment. You don't even have to like or subscribe if you don't want to. If you just leave an emoji or a thumbs up or whatever you want, you'll be entered to win this bag. All right, guys, well, I hope you enjoyed, and maybe we'll do this again sometime. I had a lot of fun, but I hope you have a good rest of your week, and I'll see you next time. All right, bye.